Now we're going to compare the magnetic dipole moment and the electric dipole moment. So in the previous video we had this current loop. This is the current flowing in this direction. Here is our magnetic field. We saw that having this current loop embedded in this magnetic field produces a force that is the current times the length of the wire. T, this is the length of the wire, in the direction of the current cross the magnetic field vector. Here the force at this point, all this and all this, the force is 0 because the distance or the length in the direction of the current is in the same direction or 180 degrees with the magnetic field. So the cross product is 0 here, 0 here. But for this and here, we have that the force is upward here and downward here because we have this is the direction of the wire. So in this direction, the magnetic field is in that direction, so the force is upward. Here the direction of the wire is in this. This is the direction of the magnetic field, and so the force is downward. So the force would be I times D times B sine theta, that in that case the sine is 1 because it's 90 degree angles. Then we have that this produces so a torque because we have one force going in this direction and the other force going in the downward direction. So the torque at point here was the cross product of the force and the distance. The force is in this downward direction. The distance is in that direction, but let me put it in this direction. If it were in this direction, the torque would be in that direction. So if I could rotate it the other way, and so the would be in this direction. The force downward, and this middle finger would be in the other side, and so this thumb would be in that other side. So the torque could be in this direction for this downward force. For the upward force here, the distance is in this direction, and so the torque is in that direction. So it's exactly in the same. So the torques are additive. So the total torque is the force, that is I, D, B, then L. And here is no more dividing by 2. D times L is A, and so we have that the torque is equal to the magnetic dipole moment, sign here, times the magnetic field times the sine of theta, so it is the cross product. And then we found that the work done to make the torque be 0 is the integral of this cross product, and this was found to be the negative of the dot product of the magnetic field and the magnetic dipole moment. Actually, in the previous video I didn't put the negative sign. Now comparing this with the electric dipole. In the electric dipole we have a polar molecule, for example, could be carbon monoxide. You have the carbon and you have the oxygen. This would be a little bit more positive and this a little bit negative, even though the whole molecule is uncharged. The electric dipole moment is the Q, the charge, times the distance. So it could be this distance, for example, from the center. This is called the magnetic dipole moment. If we want it in vector notation, here we have we'll put a cross product here, and this length is in the direction of the electric field. So this is our electric dipole moment, and our magnetic dipole moment is the area current cross product with the area vector. So magnetic dipole moment and electric dipole moment. The force, the energy, in also making that the molecule does not rotate anymore, was found during this same algorithm, but I think that in that video I didn't put the last equation, that is that the integral of this electric dipole moment is the force. Actually, it's the force times the length, but the force is electric field times charge, and charge times L is the electric dipole. So the energy is the integral of the electric dipole and the electric dipole and the electric field. And since here we have a sign here, or you can put the cross product, then when we take the integral, we have cosine, negative cosine, and so we have that the energy is the negative of the dot product of the electric dipole moment and the electric field. So we have magnetic dipole moment is the cross product of the current times the area of the current loop. The electric dipole moment of the polar molecule or a polar body, whatever it be, is the cross product of the charge and the distance in the direction of the electric field. The energy to stop the torque for the magnetic dipole is the negative of the dot product of the magnetic dipole moment and the magnetic field. And for stopping the electric field torque, the electric torque, this would be the negative of the dot product of the electric dipole moment and the electric field.